Welcome listeners to episode 38 of the Running Guide podcast, where I aim to provide informative content and interviews with elite athletes and health professionals from around the world, like in today's episode, where I'm chatting to a runner out of Mosman, Sydney, who in the last 6 months ran exceptional PBs in the 10,000 metre and the half marathon before succumbing to injury. He's rolling again and rebuilding for an assault on the Aussie singlets up for grabs in 2022. Welcome to the Running Guide podcast, Ed.Goddard. How you going, Ed?
Thanks very much. Yeah, no, I'm very good.
Fantastic.
Had a good day, so good way to wrap it up.
Yeah. Awesome. What have you been up to?
This morning I went for a run. I did 75 minutes.
Okay.
Around Moss on the bush track,
Yep.
which was good.
Yep.
Trying to keep soft surface for the most part. Just coming back from injury, and then went down to the beach. Took the dog for a walk down there with the girlfriend, and stole a other friend's dog. Took the two of them down, went for a swim.
Yep.
Got some lunch, went for a bike ride. Coached a local girl in year 6.
Okay.
She's got her cross on Friday.
Yeah, I've seen Instagram videos, mate. You like to somersault off wharfs, mate. You like getting wet, mate.
Yeah, I do. I swim twice a day.
Yeah,
every
right.
day.
Yeah, it's usually runners don't usually float that well. They normally look like drowning rats. You must be one of the rare ones who can actually keep afloat.
I guess I'm in cycling too, so
Yeah,
maybe I have to do a triathlon sometime.
and there you go. Definitely, mate. Definitely. Yeah, I grew up on the northern beaches. We used to do stuff around there. I know Balmoral way pretty well actually. Friday nights we used to do swim runs.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're always a pretty strong Balmoral triathlon club.
I mean, anywhere on the coast in Sydney.
Yeah.
You put sport for choice, so it'd be rude not to make the most of it.
So it must be feeling pretty good to start putting some decent weeks together again?
Yeah, been working with Brad Beer.
Yep, okay.
Up at Pogo Physio.
Yep.
He's doing my return to run, so it's been good. Been in the gym at 4D in the city on the Ultra G, and at Vision in Mosman for my cross training, as well as on the bike. But it's nice to actually run initially 3 days a week, and then 4, 5, 6 this week. Still using that rest day, but we're getting back to normality.
I'm going to break that down further when the injury actually happened and how you've navigated through it. I just want to run through your PBs first, mate, and we'll chat about those. Anything you can remember, mate, just fire away, mate, and we'll talk about them. So starting with your 800 metres, obviously you're a Sydney boy. Have you always been in Mosman, have you? Born and bred there?
Yeah, always in Mosman, same house.
Yeah, right, yeah. And you're still pretty young. What are you only? You're 23?
Yeah, 23.
Just to give the listeners some bit of reference there. So yeah, 800 metres, you ran a 1:57.61 up there in Sydney in October 2016.
I remember I raced Josh Phillips. He beat me by about half a second, but 800 wasn't my my blue ribbon event. I was a bit low, but held my own. One of those things. I guess you work through the distances as much speed as you can early on, because you don't have to try and work on that later on if you've already got it. But yeah, no. So 800. Did a bit in school, but really focused on the longer stuff after that.
Okay, so you actually started running at school as a kid. You didn't come up through Little A's or anything like that, or how did it all work?
No Little A's. I started running in year 6, the school cross country team for the first time, and I really enjoyed that. I think my first big thrill was I did the Sydney Blackmores Running Festival. I did the fun run, and just running at the front of the field. I think I came 8th, but running at the front of the field out of thousands of people, I was like, what is this sport? Like, just real, like, you just get that buzz from it you can't get anywhere else.
So was that the 5 or the 10 or what distance you mean?
I think it's 5K.
So cross country, you were like running up the front, you were showing a bit of ability there?
I only made nationals for the first time in year 11. I came 23rd in the 3K, then I came 8th at cross nationals later that year, and 2nd in the 5K at nationals the year after. So started to hit my stride then, but yeah, took a few years of thereabouts before it all clicked.
Yeah. Were you doing any other sports?
I played cricket until I finished school.
Okay. Yep.
That was my other love growing up.
Yeah. What, any like batter, bowler, or just all around, or?
Did a lot. I'd like to think of myself as an opening bowler, but I I mean, I played rep cricket up until it finished in under 16s, and then I played Green Shield as a bowler, but I was keeping wicket in rep cricket as well, so
Okay.
kind of a bit of everything.
Long days? Parents up there sitting around with a picnic basket, or they just drop you off and
Yep.
do the run?
I think the family has to commit to that, but it's a good sport. I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, I always steered my kids away from it. Yeah, I just be in and out like that soccer and touch football and that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
sort of in and out an hour and a half. Yeah, no, that's good. Right, yeah, let's move on to your 1500 metre, 3:56.57, 31st of
Yeah.
March, 2017.
I think that was actually at Nationals. Yeah, I mean, same as the 800. I guess I stuck with the 15 a little bit longer, but that's actually the last 1500 I've ever run. I remember finishing that race and saying to my coach at the time that I'd love to do a half marathon. And I guess that was kind of changing of the guard. I was sort of focused on the longer stuff from there on out.
So were you training on a track at that stage, or like where were you actually running around, just like the Mosman Oval, or?
Back, that would have been, 2017. I was training with Nick Bromley.
Yep.
At the Sydney Track Club, we had a really good group. It started out Charlie Hunter, Jack Stapleton, and myself. Then we got Kevin Batt back from overseas, Josh Phillips and Kieran Toole, and so the group built from there. But we had a really strong group, which I think was pretty key to my development, because you've always got to surround yourself with people you admire and people you're willing to work hard with and for.
Yep.
And so I really cherished training.
Yep. So that was in combo with Nick Biddo as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, we did a fair bit with them. Went to Falls. I raced overseas once and stayed in London at his place. So yeah, worked in with him a bit, which was a good experience. I mean, he's coached lots of our top guys, so I guess anything he says is worth listening to.
Yeah, for sure. And you can open a lot of doors, that's for sure. So yeah, good connection. All right, 3,000 metres, 8:13.54, November 16.
I was pretty happy with that one. My first state open medal.
Yeah, okay.
I came third in that race.
Who was in front of you?
It was who was it? It was Adrian Plummer, and I think Jai Edwards was one spot ahead of me.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a good race. I was pretty happy with that one. That was my first breakthrough in quotation marks, I guess. I was working hard all winter, and I think all that work paid dividends in that race.
So is Jai around your age, or is he a bit younger than you? Or?
A year younger than me,
Yeah.
and so I've been racing him quite a lot, which is good. We've got a holiday house near him as well on the south coast, so we've run all around the place together.
All right, 5,000 metres, January 2018 in Glendale, 14:07.24.
Yeah, 5K I guess is probably the first of the event I've sort of got a bit of unfinished business with.
Okay.
And I raced that 2018. Haven't really raced many 5Ks outdoors since then with my stint in America. I ran 14 flat indoors and then came home to Australia mid-season because of COVID.
Yeah.
And so I did a time trial, like very unofficially, broke 14 minutes, but obviously I have to go and do it officially.
Sure.
So you'll have to watch that space.
Zatopek was a big night this year, 26th of Jan, Australia Day, finishing fourth, 28:23.94. That's an exceptional time.
That was a good one. I was pretty proud of.
Yeah.
I guess the race itself went out very fast. It's through 5K. Then Brett made a move, took Jack with him, ran with Dave until the last lap, and then Dave almost caught Jack, but Brett was too good for everyone. It was a really fun race though. Like, I guess running with those guys you look up to, and you've trained with, it's a pretty special feeling, sort of rolling around the front with them, feeling like you sort of get that place of belonging. Makes you want to go back and do it more.
Yeah, for sure. How many times have you done the 10 down there? A couple of times?
Zatopek 3 times.
Yeah, okay.
So I raced around 29:04 in 2017. I ran a minute and 20 seconds slower the next year. I had low iron and then ran 2 minutes faster than that this year. Been up and down, but It's always a very good event.
And you would have been running a shorter distance when you were younger?
Yeah, I raced the 3K there twice as well.
Yep.
I came third in 2016
Okay.
behind Ramsden and Jai Edwards. That's a very good event. I guess any junior athlete, I think that's on everyone's radar to do that first experience of, I guess, professional racing.
All right, mate, let's move to the 5K on the road here. Not too sure, June 2015 in Sydney, but they've got you down there for 14:45. What race was
Yeah,
that one?
the local 5K
Okay.
mini Moss. Yeah, that was a fun event. I guess I've grown up racing the 5K there, and
Yeah.
now the 10K. But yeah, I love that race. Goes past my house, so
Yeah, right.
always do my best. Yeah,
So that's still going. We used to head up there back in the early 90s and do the Mosman 10K. Is that fun run
yeah,
still going, is it?
we're going. It's they're working on a date for this year. Last year was virtual. Annabelle and myself, men and women's. But yeah, I think the date should be August sometime. So yeah, on the calendar.
Yeah, it's pretty lumpy. There's not too many flat areas up around that area.
Not much, but
Yeah.
gets you strong.
Yeah, definitely. Well, look, we'll talk more about your little journey over in the States, so we don't go into
Yeah,
too much. But they've got your 10K on the road here, your PB 29:31 in New York, November
yeah.
2019.
I was up in Buffalo,
Okay.
so it was a cross country race.
Yeah. Okay.
And the day before, there was so much snow on the course that they had to run it on the road,
Yeah.
which was cool. Usually, like you're used to racing big groups on the road, but racing 300 college students,
Yeah.
where everyone's pretty high level, is a very different experience. The sort of front pack of 50, 60 people, and yeah, it's carnage, but that was fun. I raced okay. Always got to take a PB, but yeah, I was still getting used to racing in the cold.
All right, your half marathon. This is another exceptional race, mate. Down there in Lawney,
Yeah,
December
it's probably my
62,
favorite.
62:16, mate. That's
Yeah,
62 is a pretty good number. I was actually just comparing your sort of times, and yeah, there's so many guys that around the 62, and they tend to run around the sort of 28:15 to 28:30 for the 10. So you're sort of amongst some pretty big elites there.
yeah,
That was a big race, wasn't it? That was a great race.
yeah. I was very happy with that. I
Yeah.
guess that being my only half marathon of the year, that I had to make sure I prepared myself well. Did a lot of big workouts leading into that. My first real full preparation for a half marathon distance. But yeah, like the 10K, running up the front end of a field always gives you a thrill. But I guess the half as well, you get to enjoy it a bit more, because with the 10 you're pretty gassed early on, whereas the half, it's sort of key to remain comfortable
Sure.
until 15, 16K. So it was fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
I wish I back down there this year. I have to wait till next year. Hopefully, I'll race Gold Coast half. Getting back to workouts and over the next few weeks. We'll see if I can get fit enough. But if not, we'll look at what's rest on the calendar.
Now, you run fairly often with Tom DeCano, so it would have been a bit more comfortable having him out there to run with during the Lawney, or
Good. We do a lot of training
yeah,
together.
yeah,
Yeah, did all our prep together, all our Saturday workouts. We around Centennial Park, Ben St. Lawrence, Kieran Tool, a lot of stuff like 5x3K or sort of 6 by a mile, long thresholds, hilly tempos, that kind of work. So it is comforting having guys in the race with you who you train with, because you're used to working hard with them and you know their limit and they know yours, so you can sort of gauge yourself. But yeah, no, it was good running with him. He didn't take too much wind early on. He
yeah,
managed to come over the top end.
yeah, for sure. No, it was great to watch. Look, I'm looking through some of your results here. Obviously, when you were just leaving school and that, you were doing a lot of all schools competitions, getting some good results there, uni games and that.
Yeah,
I see you got over to Switzerland for the World Junior Cross Country.
yeah.
Yep, finishing 8th there, first Aussie home. Was that your first Aussie singlet or?
That was my first Aussie singlet. It
Yeah,
was I mean, I guess that's almost one of the best parts about running, is where you can do it around the world. Racing in Switzerland, like, just one of those cool experiences you'll hold forever. It was a good race. There was a lot of strong Japanese runners, and sort of North Africans. Yeah, no, really enjoyed that.
yeah. I saw your 8th, but 6th and 7th were pretty close in front of you. Were you with
Yeah,
them in the closing stages?
got outkicked by a guy who's from 3:37, so
Yeah, okay.
bills to go with him. But it's funny, I guess. One of the other things with running is the connections you make. The guy placed one or two ahead of me was a Japanese guy who, the year later, when I went over and raced in Japan, actually saw him again at the baseball of all places. He runs and did some training together over there, and Yeah, so it's funny how the people you meet and you never know when it's going to help you in the long run.
What about the other Aussies that would have been on the team? Did you get to meet them for the first time, or you already knew
Uh,
most?
well, I knew I guess my best mates on the team was Joe Burgess, who I grew up with, and Louis McAfee. But I met Tim Vincent over in Switzerland as well, and we're good mates. We both big football fans. So
Okay.
yeah, he's a Liverpool fan, and I'm a Chelsea fan. So
Oh, okay. I was going to say what code. I thought you were talking about, Australian football, but yeah, you're talking European
talking,
football. Yeah, Chelsea. Yeah,
yeah,
right. Wow. So yeah, they're in the obviously, as you know, in the final against Man City. What, in the
yeah,
next week or so, is it?
yeah. It's tomorrow morning.
Oh wow. You're going to be
Yeah,
trying to watch that. Can you get a stream off something or?
yeah, 5 a.m. I'll drag Annabelle out of bed, hold off Man City.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously they're going for the double. Chelsea, they knocked out Real Madrid, didn't they?
Yeah, they've been really good this year.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess with football as well, it's a bit harder to predict than some other sports, but never know what's going to happen. But
So you play cricket, but you didn't play soccer, or you did? What's the
I
love with soccer?
I did. I didn't play it for that long, but
Yep.
a lot of family in England
Okay.
and grown up supporting Chelsea. But I follow a wide variety of sports from rugby league to definitely baseball, football,
Yep.
AFL, sort of the works,
Yep.
rugby union.
Do you follow the Swannies or?
The Brisbane Lions actually.
Oh, there you go. Jeez. Gee, I mean, you even look a bit like Warwick Kappa. Do you know who that guy is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not too young to know who he is. You got the long locks like yourself. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a Swanee myself, mate. Grew up there, as we spoke before. That year when you made the world cross country. So this is 2000 and what are we looking at here?
That was 2018.
Now that's the same year you ran the 64 on the Gold Coast, isn't it? You got finished third
Yeah,
for the half. Yeah, it's a pretty
yeah,
good year, and third at
yeah.
the Australian cross country titles up there in Maloney.
Yeah, that was probably the hilliest course I've ever raced on.
Yeah, okay. I was actually watching. I don't know if you've seen them, but yeah, there's always something on YouTube, and it had that race on it, so you get a rough idea of the course. But it's pretty much over a golf course, wasn't it?
It was pretty up and down, but
Yeah.
I guess that's the joy of cross country. You get to race on things which you wouldn't typically do, so it's enjoyable when they throw in a course like that. We're challenging on other levels.
And you got second the year before that behind Andy Buchanan again as well, yeah?
Yeah, been a second, third the last few years. Always on the podium, always the bridesmaid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I haven't been able to pick up a qualify for Worlds?
For World Cross.
Yeah.
Hopefully next year. That's the goal. Whether it'll be another thing, but
Yeah, well,
yeah,
yeah, March in Bathurst. I really can't see the world being ready to land in Sydney just yet, so...
we'll watch this space. But I guess that's the thing for all runners at the moment. You just got to prepare for best case scenario, and there'll be other things along the way you can do, and it's always worthwhile.
All right, so the following year, you made the team for the inaugural half marathon over there in Cardiff. That was a good year. I mean, a good year, but obviously a good race for yourself, and also Jack had a killer,
Yeah, yeah,
61:01. It was unbelievable.
yeah. And he really took it to them.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, we were roommates over there, and we were in London before then.
Yep.
So it was kind of cool to see all the lead up for both of us. And I guess he's 2 years older than me, so I look up to him a lot. I guess a lot of people sort of like, I don't know, when you're younger, you look up to people sort of already at the upper echelon. But I always found it was helpful sort of looking up to people sort of, just ahead of you, because
Yeah, okay.
yes, you can see what they do, which makes them better than yourself. And then you can sort of work hard at that stuff. And yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, Look up to someone who's sort of nearly in reach, so it nearly feels like it's achievable for you, rather than
So,
looking at someone who's 10 minutes down the road.
yeah, I guess that's the thing with running. It's one of those sports where you do want to just keep ticking off. You don't want to feel like you're not achieving anything, because there's so many different distances and events you can race. It's always worth finding things that suit you and progressing wherever you can.
So what was that experience like over there in Cardiff? It would have been pretty good.
It was cool. It was a good course. I pulled my glute about 16 k's in, so
Oh, okay.
the last 4 or 5 k's was a bit rough, but
Yeah, yeah.
the race was fun, and that experience of racing for Australia is always super valuable and exciting.
Were you having issues with the glute before the race or
I
not?
sort of nursed it through for a few weeks. I mean, honestly, like a few days before, like I wasn't even sure if I was going to run. Like, I don't know. I thought like 66 minutes would have been good, like 2 days out, but I don't know, managed to managed to pull it all together.
So did you actually go at a pace that you would have if you didn't have the glute issue and hope for the best, or did you actually make some adjustments?
I mean, I remember I did a workout 4 days before. We did a 2.8K threshold and 4 by a K, and I was running like 3 minutes to 3:10s for my Ks, feeling terrible. And I was just
Yeah.
like, this is going to be a grim race if I can't do something. But I guess that's the thing. You always just got to trust in yourself. And it's not that common to go into a race with everything being perfect. So you've always got to take the positives out of it and see what you can do.
Yeah, definitely. So did you have a bit of a camp over there before?
I went to Singapore, stayed a few nights, then went to England and trained with Jack in Bushy Park in Teddington mainly, which was cool.
Now, this 2019, we might be starting to get on the side of you heading off to the US, but I see there's a half marathon in Napoli in Italy.
Yeah,
Yeah, in
that
July.
was
What's that one about?
that was World University
Ah,
Games,
okay.
which was cool. I came fourth over there. Yeah, 100% humidity, 30 degrees. But I guess, I don't know, running in Sydney in summers similar to that, so I was happy to embrace it. And I let it out, led for about 54 minutes, and then the Japanese guys took off, but managed to run away from everyone else.
Yeah,
Two of the
okay.
Chinese guys got DQ'd as well, so it's always helpful.
DQ'd for what?
They were, I don't know, had outside assistance on the course.
Oh, okay. Right, yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Jumped on a skateboard or something. That's- what other Aussies were over there with you?
Um, Spent a lot of time with Matt Clark. We were roommates, Lachlan Cook, Bree Alada. We actually hired a speedboat with our group the next 2 days, which was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, same as racing in Switzerland or anywhere else. Like
yeah,
the travel you get to do is pretty cool, especially being over there for an event. So it's
yeah.
always good to see cities you might not usually go to.
All right, let's talk about your little trip to the US. Yeah, I don't know a lot about it, so you can talk me through it, but it seemed to be somewhere around 2019 into 2020. I think it was in New York. So how did that all come about? What was the decision to go through the college system? And yeah, how did you find that experience?
I guess the decision really, I was chatting to a few people about it. I got messaged by colleges most of 2017 and 2018, and I sort of just turned a blind eye to it. But I got a message from the head coach, Joe Pienta at Iona. And I got that message at a time when I was starting to consider it properly. And then I remember chatting to Luke Matthews and him telling me that he wishes he'd gone overseas. And it's one of those things you can't do when you're 23, 24. So you might as well, if you have the chance and you're interested in it, seeing how it goes. And so I did. Went over to Iona in New York. I visited Oregon and Portland, which I like both of those unis. I just liked the fact of being in New York. I thought I'd struggle living in a rural town in America. Yeah, traded Sydney for New York and went over for a year.
So when you say New York, it's not New York City, New York State, or?
New York City, we're about 25 minutes out of Manhattan on the train.
Okay, gotcha. And what were you actually studying over there?
Just completed my Masters of Sports Communication
Okay.
and me. And so my coach chose my degree for me. He said, Ed, this is the easiest one we have here. Most of our sportsmen do it. I had an undergrad from UTS in property economics, and so I thought I'd do a bit of a more enjoyable, fun degree. Learn a lot of cool things.
Were there any other Aussies over there or had been to that university in the last
Uh,
decade or?
yeah, Heidi C has been over there, and a guy called Chart Miller. But there's a younger guy called Matt Rankin, and younger girl from Perth called Gabby Toff. They're over there at the moment, so
Okay.
there's a little cohort there, which is cool. Racing with guys from England and Ireland and Canada and all over the place. So
And you're doing track and cross country or?
yeah, track and cross country.
Yep.
Although I didn't get to race any outdoor track when I was over there. Just with COVID, the season got called the week before it started, so none of that came back to Australia. But potentially I could go back over at the end of the year, sort of weighing up options.
So what was the time window that you're over there?
Sort of mid 2019 until mid 2020.
Okay, right, yeah. So you're there for around a year. Made it through a New
And
York winter.
yeah, it was pretty cold.
What about the marathon? Did you get to see that run through, or was that not on because of COVID? It wouldn't have been, yeah.
2019 it was on,
Okay.
but we were training sort of upstate a little bit that day for a long run, and so missed that. But actually, when Riley Wolf was over there shooting something else, he came and watched me race indoor track, so it was kind of cool.
And how'd you find the whole experience? Is it
It was fun.
pretty much what you thought it'd be, or was there any sort of big surprises?
I mean, I guess the unanswered question for me would be sort of the outdoor track season. I would have loved to have done that, because I guess
Yeah.
that's the one thing everyone sort of raves about, is sort of those races and those meets they get to go and do. But I'd definitely recommend it to anyone for that sort of step in their running career.
It's a big pond over there, isn't it? So I guess it comes down to, how you handle it, whether you thrive on it or...
For those, if you're going for an extended period of time, you do have to be prepared to face periods of, I guess, uncertainty and hardship,
Yeah.
whether it be injury or just being away for so long. But I see a lot of those guys who went over first year out of school, their sort of third or fourth year, and now starting to run well after a few years. So it is that sort of long-term investment, but I feel like it does pay off if you do the right thing.
Mate, let's talk about this injury. When did it come on?
Basically, I was after Zatopek. We had a short window to the marathon at Homebush. There was a lot of speculation of whether it would be a trial race or just a fast marathon. But I sort of agreed with Tom Decano that we'd both have a shot at it and see if we could make the Australian team for Tokyo. It was about 3 or 4 weeks into training, and I sort of got a pretty swollen knee, I think, from off the back of the long run. And
Yeah. So what month is this?
this was late February, early March. But yeah, had this knee issue. I ran through that, which I shouldn't have, because I guess when you run with a limp, you just load up parts of your body, which haven't worked properly. And I must have put a lot of stress on my heel in a short time frame, because that was on the Tuesday. On the Saturday, did a workout, hilly tempo. I was focused on my knee till about the last minute, where I just felt something almost pop in my foot, and just struggled to run the next day. Did 30 minutes. Ran the next 2 days, but it wasn't getting any better. So I took a few days off, and I saw a few physios, ended up getting an MRI, but even ran 160 Ks the week leading up to the MRI, and then 3 centimetre by 3 centimetre crack in my calcaneus. Tom Decano said I must have a high pain threshold, because I thought it was getting better, but obviously it was broken in half.
Obviously no surgery for that. It's just what, moon boot or?
I was in the boot for about 4.5 weeks, maybe 5 weeks, and then was able to get out of that. And at 6 weeks, had my first run on the Ultra G, which was a very nice feeling to be back. Because I guess that thing with injury is, I think a lot of people struggle with what to do with yourself, like whether you sort of take it as a full down period or whatever. But I got pretty into my cycling. I thought that if there was any chance of me getting to the start line at Penrith in the marathon, or soon after, I'd have to stay pretty fit. So up to 500k a week, and I was really enjoying that, and I still am doing quite a bit of it. And I was like, far out, like enjoy this like near as much as I do with my running. And then I just remember first run back, just big smile on my face, being like remembering how much I love that feeling of running, and how much I missed it.
So you're doing the K's on the road bike?
On a gravel bike mainly, or at the trainer in the gym. I guess it's funny because like there's no blueprint of what to do with injury rehab and staying fit, I guess, because every injury is different, and everyone's different sort of what they want to do. But I know Annabelle last year, when she had an injury, she loved the elliptical at the gym, whereas I struggle a lot on that. So I guess it's about finding what form of exercise you're happy to with, and and running with that.
Yep. Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, you don't have to be exactly specific with the knee, but I guess you just really want to maintain your fitness, don't you? And there's a lot of ways you can go around doing that, and you may as well do it in a way that you actually enjoy it. You know, you don't want
For
it to
sure.
be a grind where you actually hate it. I mean, that's just not
Yeah.
going to work. So,
And I guess at least with cycling as well, like there's such a big community out there,
yeah.
probably almost bigger than the running community. It was sort of cool. I sort of immersed myself in that, did a few big bike workouts and stuff, rode with some triathletes and some pro cyclists, which was cool. I don't know, feel confident that you're doing the right thing.
Yep. So you mentioned before you're working with Brad Beer up there, Pogo Fizzy
Yeah.
on the Gold Coast. Obviously a pretty smart guy. So what was the return to run? Was it like, how did you first start loading it up? Was it walk, run? Was it just jogging
Well,
on the Ultra G or?
well, I said to him, I was like, "Hey, Brad, like I'm one of those guys that like I'd rather instead of doing like 10 by minute, I'd rather run for 10 minutes, or I'd rather run for 8 minutes than doing like 10 minute walk, 1 minute on, 1 minute off." He was like, "I'll definitely take that on board." But our first week was 3 minutes run and 2 minutes walk, just to give that heel that recovery time. And then we progressed to some overground running. Started off 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and then um, got out of the walk runs and got into 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 plus weeks sort of a
And
bit.
what about shoes? Were you using like a more cushioned shoe or not really? Or
Been running in the Asics Glide Ride.
okay,
I think it's probably my favorite jogger. And I've been running in the Nike Invincible as well, which is pretty plush. I guess they're both pretty good shoes. It's funny, the Glide Ride being a shoe with a plate and doing a lot of work in plates. I guess it's nice being in a shoe like the Invincible where you feel like you can get a bit more work out of your forefoot as well. Just because I think it's always easy to choose the shoe that makes you feel fastest for every run, but I think it's good to mix them up and get different things out of your body. So I know if you have a plate, like you have different effect on your calves and your hamstrings and your quads compared to a shoe without one.
and did you actually have any discomfort when you first started, or through that
I
heel?
mean, the first discomfort was, I guess, the fact I was in a boot for so long,
Yeah.
sort of using my foot in that running motion. My forefoot just got a bit tight, but I've been no heel discomfort. I got a few tests I can do every morning to see if there is any pain, but hasn't been any so far. So
Yeah. So how's this week looked? Like how
uh,
often are you running now?
for 6 week, 6 runs a week.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
still on the Ultra G at 4D, which is good. I enjoy it. I feel like
What
as
percentage
long
of weight are you running at?
85.
Okay. Yeah. How much did you take off originally?
I was on
Yeah.
65
Yeah.
my first run.
Feels weird at 65, doesn't it? Feels like you're floating.
Gives the balls a pretty tight hug as well.
Yeah.
But I chucked the incline on as well, stronger, so I put it on to 2 to 4%, somewhere around there, gets the heart rate up. But yeah, still sitting around 415, 410 per K.
So you're working with Brad. Is there any other health professionals that you're actually working with?
I love working with Brad. I mean, he's pretty busy at the moment he's actually racing the Cairns
Iron Man.
Ironman
Yeah.
next weekend.
Yep.
So he tells me what I need to
Yep.
hear, and
Yep.
we have checkups, and then I think we're both confident that we're doing the right thing, and so we'll just check in a
Yep.
few times a week. I see Ken Rauper for massage. I've seen him since I was 12
Yep.
in Kirribilli. And I see 4D, who's my gym, and they've got a few sports physios and in
Yep.
there. So
That's up at
um,
Mosman or something, is it? Or
it's in the city.
okay. Yeah.
Got one in Ryde as well
Okay.
called Spec Healthcare. But they've been so good with my return to running and stuff, and letting me use the Ultra G. And I guess they were the guys I ordered my scan through as well, so they sort of were there at the initial start. But yeah, they've been really good. I see Tom DeCanto for podiatry,
Yep.
and I go to Vision Gym in Mosman as well. Yeah, so big network, but I guess that's the best way to do it.
So you've just been studying? Are you doing work at the moment, or?
Just finished my degree last week.
Yep.
So I had to make a thesis documentary for that. But yeah, now I have finally completed it, which is good because I don't know, waking up early and doing doing uni remotely from America was a bit grim. So
Yeah.
it's good to be through that.
Before you got injured, you obviously were pretty keen to step up to the marathon. Was that something that you were going to focus on solely, or was it just something you were going to still play around with the shorter distances? Because obviously next year there's a lot going on.
There is so much going on next year.
Yeah, and you're probably still at that age and ability where you can still got growth in those shorter distances. So what's your sort of mindset? How are you thinking with that?
I'm sort of hoping to race predominantly across sort of 10K to the marathon.
Yep.
But marathons always appealed to me as the pinnacle of distance running. I admire those guys who can work hard and run fast times where they've got to push their bodies for 2 hours and 10 minutes or whatever it may be.
Yep.
And so I've always looked for that, and I guess now I'm at the age where I can feel like I'm in good shape to do so. I'm happy to go to it at a young age with confidence that I can still run the shorter distances as well. But I guess there's so many different training methods and new philosophies coming out with running. I think it is that time where people can hop across distances a lot more than maybe their training allowed in the 80s or 90s.
I guess I'm thinking, and you can tell me otherwise, like, would you not want to be happy that you've sort of reached your full potential in the 10 and a half and basically moved to the marathon too early, or are you confident that you can sort of still do that?
I'm pretty confident I can still do it. And also, I guess I am happy to, make that sacrifice. But
Yep.
I mean, the ultimate goal is to run as fast as I can in the marathon. Like, I'd love to finish my career with the Australian record or a fast marathon time.
Yep.
And so that is my goal. So start that journey early.
Possibly a marathon this year?
Yeah, I think the main thing at the moment is just getting my foot right. And then I guess there's a lot of uncertainty with travel and where you can race. So I think obviously the goal is to run the marathon at one of the majors next year. And so I probably will have to travel at some time with the whole, knowing there's the hotel quarantine, a lot of those things on offer. But I'll make that step if I need to. But yeah, I think ideally running a marathon over December, January, later this year or next year would be the goal.
For sure, with the ultimate goal to pick up a singlet for one of those majors.
For sure.
As I've discussed, and as you would know, there might be a few extra singlets floating around due to the time frame of those of the Worlds and the Com Games. Yeah, there's
and I guess there's also World Cross, World Uni Games. I think there's even World Uni Cross Country next year. So
yeah,
6 teams or something on offer. So it's a big year potentially. So I just want to make sure I get through this year in good shape and good health. And I've also been working with Jess Rothwell from the VIS. She as my dietitian as well. So trying to get the body fully healthy to absorb the training, because I guess it's so easy to overlook the little things and just sort of when things are going well, just roll with that and sort of if you haven't faced any hardship, it's easy to think that everything's fine, where I guess there's these steps to put into practice so your body's stronger and healthier to deal with all potential issues.
And do you eat everything? Like, is there anything that you don't eat?
No, I eat anything.
Okay.
I mean, within reason.
So you mentioned earlier that you got the low iron.
Yeah.
Yep. How low was that?
It was in the teens.
Yep.
My
Ferritin. Yep.
and got an iron infusion, which was very beneficial. I guess bringing it up naturally is such a long process. I tried that for a few months and it sort of wouldn't bite as much as I'd wished. And so saw a good sports doctor, Peter Fuller, down in Melbourne, and he sorted that out for me, which was good. Got the iron infusion, was able to race a few weeks, months, whatever after that. The high standards. So I was, very happy I got that.
Does it make you feel a bit sick when you get that infusion, or you don't notice any difference?
I only had one day where I almost collapsed on a run. It was maybe half a week or so later, and I was doing I think 60-minute run, and I just had the worst headache and just felt super nauseous. But I mean, apart from that, I was pretty happy. I flew to America a week and a half after and did a workout in my layover in New Zealand, A-reps in the airport. So, I mean, outside the airport, I had no problems there. So,
have you looked at your bloods recently?
I'm checked pretty regularly just to stay on top of things, get hormones and everything tested, which, I mean, looking at the injury, I took a lot of benefits and positives from it because I was overlooking things like nutrition, hormones, things like that. Whereas when I got them tested and had some things which are pretty low, I've been able to work on them now. So hopefully when I do get back to racing, I'll be healthier and my body will be able to handle more things than before.
Look, you recently put together a YouTube video, mate.
Yeah.
The other day, with some talented colleagues. It's pretty professional. Well done to everyone who was involved in that. I'll whack a link in the show notes for the listeners. Titled Why I Run. Definitely worth 20 minutes of watching. What was that all about? Was that, I mean, you mentioned before, you're doing, was it communications sport or me? Yeah. And you said you did a thesis. Did that have anything to do with this movie or?
Yeah, that was my thesis, but I was chatting to Otto, who filmed it and everything for a long period before then about doing something like it. Just because I guess it's good to share your story and your experiences with other people. And I got so much out of the last few years with running myself. I sort of want to share that with other people because I feel like a lot of people enjoy running and get a lot out of it, but I think it can be quite a lonely sport at times and a time of sort of uncertainty. And so I was happy to share what I'd been through, and I guess didn't initially set out with a time frame, but I was thinking it'd be about sort of 10, 12 minutes. But I guess once I got telling my story and explaining things, I think it's worth a 19-minute watch.
No, look, it's good, and I think we need more of it. Running needs is more of that type of stuff. Runners telling the story, guys with a bit of swagger, or girls, or whatever it might be, but just more exposure. And I reckon, thumbs up, mate. I reckon it's fantastic.
Appreciate
really
it.
good. Yeah, I was watching some of your other videos too, there, mate. The YouTube channel. I think it's just Ed.Goddard, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, and they're really well done. So who's behind or the filming and the production? Is that mainly you? Is it or?
Most of them are mainly me, but I've been working with Otto, who's a runner as well. He does a lot of cinematography work on Netflix shows and documentaries, but he's pretty top of the game with all that stuff.
Yeah. So the gear's high-end type stuff rather than just an iPhone.
Yeah. Although some of it, quite a lot of it actually was filmed on an iPhone.
Yep, no, they are getting better. What's up, Annabelle?
I'm so bored.
Come on, the movie starts in 5 minutes.
I was trying to do uni work.
Yeah, well, what's stopping you?
Ed's voice.
Oh, okay.
I guess the other thing with content as well, we've been launching our brand Swim Club.
What is this swim club? Tell me about this.
Well, basically, it started out when in quarantine, when there was all the restrictions and small amounts of people you could actually run with. We started a 5-people track club. It was Kieran Toole, Josh Phillips, myself, Max Mahon, and Joe Burgess. Ed Trippers came back from overseas, and also Annabelle's pointing fingers at me and herself because she thinks of herself as one of the founding members. Yeah, we sort of started it out for ourselves, I guess, as sort of our running group in Australia. But
I haven't seen any swimming though yet. Oh, what's with the swim?
The swimming's the beach.
Yeah, right.
It also started because Annabelle has a bikini with the word Swim Club written on the bum of it. That's where the name came from. But I guess we started sort of for ourselves and for our training needs, but we're looking to expand it to other people just because we get so much out of the running community and each other and supporting one another. We feel that there is that sort of gap in the running community where a lot of people feel like they're doing it on their own or doing it without much guidance. We're sort of hoping we can be a bit of a social group, a bit of an outlet for people that they can feel part of something and run for us. Honestly, like we're happy to help anyone, and that's kind of our goal, is to sort of build a network of runners around Sydney and Australia, and who knows.
Yeah, that sounds good. Good. I mean, there's obviously a few, as you know, doing that, and obviously Izzy and Riley doing that over there in South Australia with that Runners One, and that's just exploded. And
our focus is to make sure it's always free. We're big on that kind of thing. I think it's pretty easy to end up paying quite a bit for coaching, so we're happy just to help people.
Well done. That's great. So are you going to start to put something together for that, like on the web, or?
We've got a few things in the work. I've got my business analyst girlfriend Annabelle and myself and a few other people. We've been talking with the director of a pro cycling team and a few other people like that, just about building a network across Sydney.
All right, so obviously coming back from injury, the marathon is the main aim for you. If you had to, if you could script the next 4 years of running, so what are we into, 22, 23, 24 into Paris there?
Yeah.
So if you had to script the next 4 years, mate, how would it look?
I guess initially I'd love to make a team next year, or a few teams next year, and then sort of kick on from there, run at Paris in the marathon, and get my marathon time down. Also, I guess the other thing for all runners is sort of turning it into a profession. So I think that's the aim for the moment, starting to work with Polar and Oakley. But yeah, talking to a few shoe companies as well. So hopefully get something lined up soon. I've been talking to one, but it involves moving back to America. So I guess that's another option. But I guess the main thing as well is just want to keep enjoying running.
Yep.
I think Annabelle and myself have built a pretty good lifestyle out of being able to enjoy what we do. So obviously being able to pay for it as a profession would be one thing, but being able to stay true to what we enjoy is the other.
Definitely, mate. Yep, living the dream, as they say. Yep. And that little injury can sometimes give you a bit of a kick up the backside to make you realise, to appreciate when you're healthy and when you can run. And
yeah, it definitely does. Like I was saying, with taking things for granted, it is so easy when everything is going in the right direction. Turn a blind eye to a lot of potential issues. I've taken a lot from my injury. Annabelle's been a good help as well. I guess build a good network of people that are going to be there for me over the next few years. In Brad, in everyone else. But I guess that's my advice to any runners. Build your network. There's so many people out there who have been through the same thing as you, no matter what it may be. So people are always there to help. And so always just got to reach out and make sure you meet new people and build a network of people who have your back.
No, great advice, mate. Sounds like you're really thinking clearly there. That's fantastic. We're really looking forward to seeing what's happening with the marathon over the next few years, because you're one of them, and a few other guys are starting to show a bit of potential. It's going to I really think that Australian record is going to go down the next couple of years. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how fast it actually gets. I wouldn't be surprised if an Aussie runs 2:06 in the next few years.
I mean, Jack and Brett are definitely the two at the top right now. Liam's running well. Tom DeCano, Ben St. Lawrence. A lot of guys running at that and so it'll be hard to make teams, and I think that's as it should be. It should always be hard to do, because it means Australia's going to be as competitive as it can be on the world stage.
And it'd be great, and it's been chatted about many times, but like they did that race out of Penrith, that qualified, it'd be great to have that every year. It's just going to help distance running,
I think it'd be good to bring athletics more into the mainstream, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
I think a lot of people, runners and non-runners, would be interested in an Olympic trial, or for any teams really. So it'd be good to see that on city streets, televised. That'd be the goal.
Yep. I think it's just the hardest thing is turning these runners into personalities and family names. Up against a bit of competition, but it can be done if you believe in it. I
think that's the other side of running as well, is building a brand for yourself, because it's not one of those sports where you're playing Friday night football every week. You do have to make content and make things speak for yourself. And so I think the better jobs runners do for themselves, the bigger the community will grow as well.
Well, you're certainly setting a good example there, mate.
Podcasts are very, very good. I guess like listening to them on runs and just hearing that advice like is just good reassurance that everything's going in the right direction. Or
Glad that you're back up and moving again. You got all these goals. Still got passion.
honestly, when I did break my foot, I was just like, how am I going to be running pain free in
Yeah.
6 weeks time? Like I couldn't actually fathom it until I got out there. So it's funny to see how things turn around pretty quickly, both good and for bad.
And what I always find is I don't realise how chemically dependent you are as a person to running until you stop doing it. And then you go for your run and then you get that feeling again.
Yeah.
You don't get from other things. So you can nearly get addicted to the response that running actually gives you, and you don't actually realise that until it's gone.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's just such a big part of your day as a runner.
Yeah.
I think it is also like if you were struggling with motivation or anything, like you do have to build your run into your day rather than sort of feel like running's separate to your other daily activities. I think if you get sort of everything to work together and you build it into part of your day, like it's easiest to do. But then I guess also like when you can't do that through injury or whatever, that's where I guess cross training and cycling was something I could do.
Look, I'm going to wrap it up there, mate. Thank you so much for your time tonight. Really appreciate it. Really hope everything goes well, mate, in the next, this year and next year.
Appreciate it.
Like you said, it's going to be competitive for those Aussie singlets, but that's what we want. It's a 4-day turnaround from the end of Worlds to Birmingham Com Games. So I was thinking there might even be a chance for the 10,000 and the half.
Yeah, or I think you could run definitely the 10K at one and pull at the other, but I'll see what I qualify in.
I'll just keep doing what you know what to do, mate, and everything else will take care of itself.
Thank you.
Looking forward to watching your next video clip, mate. I've subscribed, mate, so all the listeners, jump on, subscribe. It's definitely worth the listen and worth the watch, mate. So you're not too bad behind a camera, man. Don't cut off the locks, mate, because that'll start to become your identity. So if you cut your hair off, no one will watch it anymore.
I hope so.
That's always the risk. All right, Ed. Looking forward to seeing how you all go, mate. I might see you at a race one day.
Yeah, I'll come to the beach whenever. Would be keen to hit up Avalon.
I'll be up there soon, actually. So yeah, for sure. I'll come for a run, but I might have to be on a bike if I'm next to you. But all right, Ed, thanks again, mate.
We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. See you guys.